Hi, this is Cobrazolsport.com. I'm here with Desiree Bennett and Brandon Richey, and we're here to talk about non-addictive pain relief today. So, what's you two's background in athletics and health?
You want me to start? You want to? Basically, I'm a strength and conditioning coach and trainer here in the Atlanta area, Georgia, and I train athletes basically of all backgrounds. I do anything from martial arts to your traditional sports, baseball, football, basketball,
Okay.
some non-traditional or a little less common like figure skating and golf and more specific individual sports like that. And I have a blog that I publish to every week and do a different theme on training at brandonricheyfitness.com. And I kind of devoted my life to teaching people how to master their bodies and enhancing performance and health. So,
Desiree, what about you? What's your background?
Well, my background in sports, I am an amateur ice hockey player. I play the position of goaltender in the co-ed league, the Atlanta Amateur Hockey League. And I also just recently took up Muay Thai for the last 9-10 months or so, and I just competed at the end of last month at the IKF World's Championship.
Nice. So, how do you guys know each other?
She's been training with me now for, I guess, about a year and a half. Is that right? So, a year and a half, and sort of helped her with her the athletic performance side of her training and the strength aspect of her training to get her ready, to get her fight ready.
Okay.
And we have a mutual friend of ours. I'm also a practitioner of Muay Thai. Don't compete, but a good friend of mine, Jeff Perry. So Jeff, if you're watching this, hello. So we've had a good relationship there, and we've worked together for extensively for about a year and a half, and she's really taken to it. Really enjoys the intense side of it. So.
How long have you been coaching? How did you get into it?
Let's see. I've been coaching for about 16 years. Right, it's 2016, right? So 16 years about, and been self-employed since '05. I know time flies when you're having fun, but yeah, I've been. I got into it basically. Was influenced at a very young age, getting involved in sports. First time I saw Arnold Schwarzenegger was a big influence. And then after that, being in the Southeast, college football, Herschel Walker also had a lot to do with that. And of course, my parents and my brother, we got a younger brother, he's 4 years younger, very competitive, and just always been involved in athletics. And so it kind of trended into my career.
What kind of athletes do you generally coach?
The athletes that I coach now, I have a healthy crop of fighters. Hockey player. I have some basketball and baseball, football, and I've got a few figure skaters that I work with. So.
Okay. As a coach and as a trainer, what are the most common injuries that you see?
Common injuries that I see for what I do, I don't generally see them in training, because in training what I tend to do is teach people how to correct movement through movement correction and that kind of thing, how to be your own advocate for treating pain, right? So, but as a coach working with athletes, what I tend to see is a lot of overuse injury with athletes that come in and they're involved in sports where they do things, repetitive motions, the same repetitive motions over and over and over. So like if it's baseball, imagine a pitcher throwing over and over and over, the shoulder gets overuse. And so where I come in is I can combat overuse by creating a strength program to counter that overuse. So when you counter that, you negate a lot of injuries, a lot of those overuse injuries. But that's the most common thing that I experience.
Okay. As an athlete yourself, doing Muay Thai and hockey, those are sports where you really get beat up in.
Yeah, a little bit.
What kind of injuries do you deal with?
Going off of what Brandon just said, overuse. In goaltending, we typically, it's just the same motions just about over and over again. So for me personally, I would say my hips, lower back, neck, shoulders, just from the constant motion of this for goalie, constant striking motion for fighting.
Clinching.
Muay
Thai clinch.
Yeah, Muay Thai clinch. Nothing brings people closer together.
Yeah.
And with those injuries, before you found out about Cobrazol Sport, what was recommended to you or prescribed to you to deal with that pain?
Well, I would get muscle relaxers, painkillers, and prescription anti-inflammatories for the most part. And it's just using that for such an extended period of time. It really wore on me. So I would that was kind of like the last ditch effort really for me. I'd have to be in some really serious pain.
Plus, I like to feel that stuff makes me groggy, and
oh yeah,
I like to function.
Yeah, yeah,
too.
absolutely.
So you didn't like having that prescribed to you. It made you as an athlete feel not at where you should be.
Pretty much, I felt like it really did hinder me a bit because if I went through, if I had any muscle spasms or strain, really those medications kind of make me, the side effects of them essentially would just really make me groggy, tired, and I would just be really useless, so I wouldn't really have the motivation to get out and keep training.
And Brandon, talk more about that. How can painkillers and muscle relaxers and things that Desiree was just talking about, how can it hinder an athlete and what they want to accomplish, and what do you mean by be your own advocate?
What I mean by being your own advocate is I think people can treat most conditions with themselves, by themselves, by applying knowledge. One thing is, for instance, if you have tight restricted hips, a lot of times people will complain of low back pain. Well, tight restricted hips a lot of the times can be, that can correlate with low back pain. So if you free up the hips and you work on, how to stretch the hips, how to correct that inhibition there, and you get rid of it, then you get rid of the pain. So by knowing that, you can be your own advocate. You can self-treat. And for me, with using drugs for long-term treatment, that way, to me, that's treating a symptom, and it's not really getting rid of the problem, and it's just not really healthy. It's not. Those things have negative side effects for long-term use. So.
Okay. Being a fighter and being a personal trainer, how important is it to overcome pain in your training to keep going at what you want to accomplish?
Well, for me personally, getting through training, it's extremely important. It's very vital. I had just going through the competition, the training for the competition, every day and every week, the level of conditioning increases. So that way, when you're going into competition, you're at your peak fitness. And, you go through some strain, you get, like we were talking about Muay Thai clinch, that really pulls on the neck. It's not necessarily like an emergency injury where you're really hurt, but there's strain and it's tender, but you know that you need to go to training tomorrow. So I've personally just used the Cobrazol, put it on there, and I can get through training just fine.
It seems like in Muay Thai, an ultra competitive sport like that, you would need to stay on top of it and get through it. How does Cobrazol Sport help you get through pain?
Honestly, again, going through for using the example of the neck pain or the the strain in there, it just kind of took all that edge off. It was able to let me get through training, and then if I knew, man, this kind of is a little bit more pain than what I, then I know that I need to either go to the chiropractor or something. But Cobrazol really has helped big time in just helping me manage that pain and get through it without having to rely on taking anything else.
Do you like to add on to that? How it helps you conquer pain?
Yeah, I mean, for me as a coach, that's my job, is to make sure that they're healthy that people can perform. If they're 100%, then they can perform at their best. And if they're not 100%, then, you know, someone's, in my experience, you have a lot of people, you have athletes that they go either extreme. They either don't do enough in terms of strength and conditioning, not necessarily their sports skills, but in terms of mastering their body, they don't do enough, or they try to do too much. And if they do too much, they have to be reined in, right? You got to rein them in.
Does she do too much?
She can. But you know, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But you got to rein them in, and it's more about explaining to the athlete, look, if you can only, if they're really too sore to function, or if they're even nursing an injury, but they still feel like they can function, that if they can't go but 70% of their capacity, they can't achieve 100% of the result. So for me, it's about keeping them closer to that 100% as much as possible throughout their training, so that they go into their sport healthy and optimal.
So would you recommend this to an athlete or someone who's just trying to stay healthy every day, avoid pain?
I would. Here's why, and this is what I like about it, because I can be my own advocate to stave off a lot of that, right? And I can do that, but there are times when you start competing or when you push yourself, and we get sore, we get stressed a different way, the muscles are sore, and you tweak something or something's just off, and you just want some immediate relief. This has been perfect for me personally. I've used it for that reason. Second to that, what I love about the product, what I love about the brand, is that Cobrazol Sport has created a culture. When you go to their website and you start reading about being your own advocate for pain, which is cool, because it's not only like here's our product, this is the solution. It's okay, we're going to help you every way we can. Here's how you can prevent a lot of this. This is how you can self-treat, and if this doesn't work, we have something, and it's going to be a lot less detrimental than a lot of the other options. So that's what I like about it. It's a minimal side effects, maximal outcome.
Desiree, would you recommend this to another athlete?
Absolutely. I have. I keep like a couple bottles on me.
How often do you use it?
Every day, just about.
Every day?
Yeah, pretty
Shower
much.
in it. And
Pretty much. I mean, no, serious. Like, I really do use it just about every day. And I do highly recommend it. I mean, it actually really works.
Okay.
So.
And real quick, what do you guys most like about the product?
I like. For me, I don't like taking stuff and using stuff long term. This, for me, in my scenarios with dealing with soreness and stuff, it's for me been a very temporary thing. I can apply a couple of times, 3 times, a couple of days at the most, and the problem goes away. It's quick, and that's what I like about it. And it comes in handy because they come in different forms, and I keep one in my car, one in my house, and one in my bag. So if I'm one of those 3 places, which I generally am, if I forget, there's one
You're
around.
covered.
I'm covered. I got all my bases covered. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Desiree, what about you?
Couple reasons. Biggest one is because I mean, again, it really does work. I mean, as soon as I put it on, I'd say for me personally, within 10 minutes or so, pain's gone, and I feel great. The other biggest thing is that there's no smell to it. So, you know, I mean, I don't want to...
like a chemistry lab.
Exactly.
You know?
I don't want to smell like a medicine cabinet.
Yeah.
Though, I mean, honestly, some of them are kind of pleasant, and it's not that bad. But, you know, I like the option of wearing perfume, smelling really pretty. And then definitely the fact that it's all natural. I mean, that's a huge factor for me.
Okay. Well, there you go. Thank you guys for talking to me today about this. And
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
I'm here with Brandon Richey and Desiree Bennett talking about being your own advocate and finding a healthy way to combat pain. Check out Cobrazolsport.com. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and thank you for watching.